Was Pokemon really better in 2D? I say no, because we got the best generation in 3D. But is 2D Pokemon better overall? Yes. That's my answer. Best generations. Alright, boom. I'm gonna do it from Generation 7. Because I ain't played Generation 9 and I ain't played Generation 8. I only play like the Pokemon Diamond Pearl remix. So I'm gonna just say 7, like 1 through 7, right? Dead last is Gen 1. I know, oh, it's iconic. Oh, 151. Suck a dick. Alright? Niggas don't want to hear that. Then I'd say it's Generation 2. It's like you see where I'm going here, is steadily getting better. It's more the same thing as Generation 1, just, you know, more. You know, I'm a little biased because Omega Ruby X, you feel me? But I ain't gonna lie. Gen 7, it's right there. So 1, 2, 7. Ultra Sun was decent. Sun, Moon, decent. To say the least. It was alright. You know, it was alright. Now, we could say all the Pokemon games from here on out, fire. Like, damn near 9, 10 out of 10s. I say, like, from Gen 7 down, it's like 6, 5, 4. From here on out, is 8 and above. Like, everything else is 8 out of 10 and high. Yeah, Gen 3. Hoenn, Kanto. The Kanto remakes, tough. Now we got 4, 5, and 6 left. Niggas might hate me because I'm not gonna do what all these other niggas gonna do. Like, oh, the objectively the best game, the best story, the best. Fuck you, nigga. I'm gonna say Gen 4. Now look, Gen 4 is tough. Every game in there, besides Diamond and Pearl, is a 9 out of 10 or above. Heart Gold might be the best Pokemon game I ever played in my life. I lied. I actually lied. I don't know why I lied. That was a useless lie. But that's a 9 out of 10. Heart Gold, tough. Heart Gold, tough. Platinum, tough. Diamond and Pearl, for me, it was cool. It was cool. It was like a 8, 7 out of 10. 7.5. It was a good entry. And then Platinum came around. And then that's when the Aki niggas started walking around. All those little niggas on the floor. That's Diamond and Pearl. The little niggas on the floor, right? Number 2. Number 2 might be Generation 5. Now look, I'm not gonna lie. If I wasn't so biased, I'm letting y'all know right now. If I wasn't so biased, I say Gen 5 probably number 1, Gen 4 number 2, right? But I'm biased. And what are you gonna do about it? Not a damn thing, nigga. Come on, lock in. And then number 1 is Gen 6. First Pokemon game I ever played. Best remake, in my opinion. Better than Heart Gold, Omega Ruby, Bliss. Damn near over 800 hours on it. You feel me? Some calm shit though. You feel me? I know it's not up there with the Pokemon elitists, the niggas that be breeding the Pokemon, making it competitive teams and shit. But you feel me? It's something.
Making the switch to 3D was one of the most ambitious moves by the Pokemon company. When Pokemon X and Y came out for the 3DS in 2013, Nintendo believed that moving Pokemon into the 3D space was the correct decision. However, today a lot of fans look back and agree that Pokemon is definitely better suited for 2D. This could be attributed to the poor direction Pokemon games as a whole have been heading in for the last decade, but many Pokemon fans still have their reasons. I mean, there's plenty to look back on fondly when it comes to 2D. Generations 1 through 5 all display unique art styles and have their own individual charm while only being in the 2D space. The evolution from Fire Red and Leaf Green to Black and White shows how Game Freak mastered 2D sprite design, animation, and world building. However, there's definitely a large community.
That's true though, I ain't gonna lie, that's true, that's really true. But whoa, hold on. Pokemon X and Pokemon Omega Ruby, they look completely different. So, where's the line drawn at? Where the line drawn at?
Pokemon fans who see the move to 3D as a beneficial and
Sun and Moon as well. Yo, you saw those sprites? Nigga, in Sun and Moon, niggas walk like this. Like what, bro? Come on, bro. Nigga, yo. Come on, bro. It's different. It's different.
Necessary one. 3D models allowed Pokemon to move into the modern era of gaming, with the release of the 3DS and Pokemon X and Y. Generation 6 was the first in 3D, and although a lot of people have very strong opinions about this game, a lot agree that it is one of the most beautiful regions in the entire franchise. This begs the question, was Pokemon really better in 2D? Today we'll explore the differences and advantages that each era of Pokemon design offers, and see if this is truly the case. Pokemon's so-called golden age was in the time of 2D. Generations 4 and 5 with Platinum and Black and White 2 definitely stand out as fan
Sucking
favorites
it.
when it comes to art styles as a whole, whether it be 2D or 3D. I came to find out that this art style used in Generations 4 and 5 is referred to as 2.5D. This is when Game Freak began to test out certain 3D aspects in their game and tried to elevate from strictly full 2D art styles seen in games like Emerald, Gold, and Silver. This evolution saw the peak of 2D modeling with almost all Pokemon sprites being near perfection. Also, when it comes to world design, Game Freak hit the nail on the head. The pinnacle of 2D region design has to be Sky Arrow Bridge from Black and White. Nintendo really squeezed out everything that the DS had to offer right in this one scene and makes you forget that these games are over a decade old now. The rotating camera angle and final descent into Castelia City with the skyline in the background shows how much pride and dedication went into the development of these games. And we can't forget about the earlier generations as well. Looking at the remakes Fire Red and Leaf Green, this art style always stays fresh for me, while also keeping the simple and basic feel that makes Generation 1 so nostalgic. Especially when it comes to certain Pokemon like the Kanto starters and their evolution lines, these sprites keep in mind what the original vision was for Pokemon and
So let me get this shit straight. Is this gonna be a whole 9-minute video of him sucking 2D Pokemon dick? What a praise that for the for what X and Y did? Come on, gang. Like, yo, niggas just be sketching it up over there, bro.
Red
Like,
and Blue. And perhaps the fan favorites of remakes in Heart Gold and Soul Silver cannot go without mention. These games are held on the highest of pedestals by Pokemon fans and are regarded as some of the best work in the entire franchise. The autumn colors look so good, and Belchime Trail is one of
fuck. I'm gonna lie, he low-key kind of cooking me because the autumn shit was tough. Oh my gosh, yo, the whole like spring, some of the seasons. Oh my gosh, yo, that shit was fucking tough. Nah,
the
that
most
shit
beautiful
was mad
places in
tough.
any of the games. These
That shit was
games'
mad
art
tough.
style have certainly aged well and makes you forget that Fire Red and Leaf Green were released over 20 years ago. So, as a whole, there's plenty to talk about when it comes to Pokemon in the 2D space.
That shit older than
Whether
me.
it be full 2D or 2.5D, the art of Pokemon was without a doubt thriving in 2D. I mean, it shows that Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, the last installments in 2D, as well as the last on the DS, are regarded as some of the best in the entire franchise. The second installments in Generation 5 are definitely my favorite game, and the pixel art style in these games are so unique. Although, this art style has seen some criticism for being too pixelated to the point that it gives a blurring effect. For this reason, many give the crown to Pokemon Platinum for its cleaner 2D style artwork and sprites that introduce some 3D aspects into the 2D realm. Personally though, I think that this art style as a whole, whether it be from Generations 4 or 5, is the absolute peak of the art of Pokemon. There is definitely something to be said about the games of the modern and 3D era. Pokemon X and Y broke into the new era of Pokemon in the 3DS. This game
Go ahead. I'm already preying it. He gon' sketch it up over here. He gon' crazy numbers. I'm talking Draymond to LeBron.
saw the
Watch.
complete
We
redesign
gonna
of
see it.
every single Pokemon into 3D modeling. Obviously, this was an enormous undertaking by Game Freak before the release of Generation 6, and much of the manpower to make these games went entirely into turning 2D sprites into 3D models. However, this was no simple task. A lot of Pokemon thrived in the fact that they were 2D sprites. Two Pokemon I remember especially hit hard by this are the
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Look. I already know what you gonna mention. I already know what you gonna say. Get off Typhlosion Day. I'm gonna let you know this right now. Get off Typhlosion Day.
Cyndaquil line and Hippowdon. Two
I knew it.
Pokemon
I
I
know it.
remember
I know it.
especially
I know
hit
it.
hard
I
by
know
this
it. I
are
know
the
it.
Cyndaquil line and Hippowdon. In particular, Typhlosion lost its main physical characteristic of the fire coming out of its back to instead having the fire not out at all times. Hippowdon went from consistently being sat on a pile of sand spewing from the holes on its back to this. Both examples of how 3D took the flair out of a lot of Pokemon. However, there was also good that came out of this
TP.
transition.
Just
Obviously,
TP.
first and foremost, this was a change
TP.
that just needed to happen. Pokemon moving into the 3D space was inevitable, and at the time, this was a decision that Nintendo as a whole had completely committed to, especially with the release of the DS's successor, the 3DS,
Level
being solely
50.
based around the idea of
Brokey.
3D, which was all the crazy
Niggas
at
was
the
just
time.
doing shit
If it
back in the
hadn't
day.
happened when it did, it was going to eventually. Also, with the addition of 3D modeling, the region design and architecture could be completely brought to new levels not possible before. Game Freak started out with a bang when it came to the Kalos region. Kalos is regarded
Yeah.
as one of the most beautiful regions in the entire franchise,
Yes,
with
it
its
is.
main ideas during production being beauty and evolution. This was a time that Pokemon could somewhat
The shit is based off of Paris, the Eiffel Tower, croissants. You understand? You like you feel me, bro? Paris is just filled with croissants and sexy niggas. Pause. I'm just keeping it a stack though. Filled croissants and sexy niggas. There's no way they don't make this region the most beautiful. It's by far the most beautiful region. And with Pokemon Z or whatever that's called, when Pokemon ZA come out, I know I'm gonna be on that. I'm gonna be on that heavy.
Redefine the formula that had been going on for almost 15 years at the time, and that opportunity they did not take lightly. New animation possibilities like Mega Evolution allow Game Freak to show off the new potential possibilities in 3D and show what Pokemon were possible.
Let me get this shit straight. Niggas gonna include the coolest shit in the fucking world. The coolest shit in the world. Look, let me tell y'all something. When I saw Mega Mewtwo Y, when he was floating like this on some Dragon Ball shit, that was the coolest thing I ever seen in my life. Charizard X, Mega Rayquaza. I'm thinking, yo, there's nothing cooler than this. And then niggas give us Gigantamaxes.
In this new format. Also, looking at the Generation 3
Niggas
remakes
just don't
of
be
Omega
digging with their
Ruby
head
and Alpha
sometimes.
Sapphire, once again beloved remakes, which use a similar art style and expanded on the ideas of Pokemon X and Y. This art style, in conjunction with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which we'll touch on more soon, is referred to as 3D Chibi. This is definitely my favorite look that 3D Pokemon has had to offer, and X and Y as well as Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are my favorite games of the modern era. Moving on to
Cause they
Generation
tough,
7 and
nigga.
beyond.
That Gen 6 shit. Nigga, I'm trying to tell you, bro. Gen 6 is dead ass tough, bro. Now look, everything that went on that Switch, turn a blind eye. I don't recognize it at all, except for the Gen 4 remakes. Cause I needed to see what was going on over there. It sucked. But we move. After you complete the story, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So you're going to have to take that $60 to the chin because there's nothing after the game. There's
This
nothing
is where
after.
many start to question the future of Pokemon in 3D. Pokemon Sun and Moon is personally where my attention begins to fade. This is definitely due in part to the reinvention of the formula with trials, which were not really my cup of tea. Also, Sun and Moon as well as
That
Sword
shit
and
was not my cup of tea either. That shit was not my cup of tea either. That shit was ass. We
Shield
moved
saw the
though.
introduction of the 3D art style
We
known
moved,
as 3D
though.
stylized. I feel as though Pokemon lost a lot of its personality when it came to this type of design. I think these art styles have become too much like boring average 3D models and lost the touch of uniqueness that the older games had. There are definitely certain
Yeah.
exceptions though, like Battle and Leia and Sword and Shield, which is probably my favorite location from any of these newer games post Generation 6. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl also exist during this time period and are seen as the worst remakes. The new art style is now taken on fondly by longtime players and Generation 4 lovers, especially since Generation 4 saw the peak of Pokemon when it came to art style and design, which only made the fallout that much worse. This also glosses over the introduction of Pokemon to the Nintendo Switch in Generation 8, but to me this is largely overshadowed due to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. These games are not suitable for the Nintendo Switch, and to even look halfway decent need to be played on an emulator on a PC. The art style and region design has significantly dropped and the liveliness of the world has seemed to be forgotten. These games have not done the justice that 3D Pokemon deserves and are a significant drop in quality from the start.
Alright, my nigga, you ain't gotta cut so deep though, bro. He ain't gotta cut that deep. He's really baking these shits like, damn, like, bro, these not my mans. These games, I told y'all, everything after Generation 7, it's not my mans. Even Generation 7, he on the borderline of just being an acquaintance. Gen 6 is my mans. Gen 6 is my mans. I don't know about all these other niggas though.
Start of this era with Generation 6. As a whole, Pokemon fans recently have formed a general consensus about the state of Pokemon design and development. Looking back myself, there's a lot to be missed from the 2D era of Pokemon. However, of the 4 art styles we looked at today, I'd have to rank them in this order. 2.5D takes the cake in my book as the all-around best art style of Pokemon. Pokemon
Word.
Platinum as well as Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 are my favorites in how Pokemon has ever looked and felt. Especially the art style of Generation 5 combined with the excellence of the game itself makes me put Black 2 and White 2 at the top of my list all time. Next
Word.
is 3D Chibi. Pokemon X and Y are one of my favorite.
You know what? I'll settle for second place. Look, we not showing that much love anyway. So second place, damn near, nigga, I got silver.
games,
I got
and
silver.
design of the
I'm happy
world,
with the
as well
silver
as the
medal.
general feel of a brand new adventure into 3D
I'm
for
happy
the
with
first time makes it so
I'm
exciting.
happy with the silver medal.
As well as Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which reinvigorated Hoenn and carried on this similar art style and so many great features introduced in Generation 6. Closely following 3D Chibi is full 2D. Games like Fire Red and Leaf Green, as well as Soul Silver and Heart Gold, keep the feeling of the youngest generations of Pokemon while bringing them into timeless art styles that can be enjoyed today. It's crazy to think how old these games are and still look like modern 2D style video games. And coming in last is the newest style of 3D stylized. The most recent 3 generations
TP,
for
bro.
me personally have fallen off when it comes to this art style.
It's
They
TP,
look and
bro.
feel like the commercialized version of Pokemon that has seemed to become ever apparent in today's world. I hope that newer generations can take from the feedback of the fans regarding the look of these games, especially the issues surrounding Scarlet and Violet, and build on them. Hopefully with the introduction of the Nintendo Switch's successors sometime soon, we can see a more powerful console that is capable of hosting a new 3D experience of Pokemon. With that, I believe that Pokemon was definitely better in 2D. However, I'd love to see what you guys...
Look, bruh. I low-key agree with what he's saying. You know, Generation 7, kind of ass. Even though I am very biased. Generation 8, 9. I don't know them niggas. Turn the blind eye. That's what I told y'all. It was a good video though. He was cutting deep though. He was cutting deep. He ain't have to do all that. He didn't. He did not have to do all that. I like the video though. Fizzin. Good video, Fizzin. I love it.